In this lesson, we're going to learn how to use a stroke effect to grow out our plant elements. So here's where we left off. You can open up 14 Mask Animation Grow End. So we're in the Growing Elements composition, and we've got a very basic mask reveal. However, for some of these objects, this is not going to work very well. For example, let's look at this piece here. If we do a mask reveal, we're going to be losing a lot of the curling motion of this plant here, and I really want to capture that. So let's figure out how we can use a stroke to begin revealing this. So let's select our object, the lower right curly, and I'm just going to solo this so we can see it. And let's add a stroke effect on this. So let's go to Effect, Generate, Stroke. And what this lets us now do is it lets us pick a path to stroke along. So let's draw out a path. So we'll just grab our pen tool. And for our pen tool, I'm going to be turning off the roto, so I'm going to be using a Bezier. And let's just draw the main line. I always like to begin with a main line of a plant. So let's start on one end, and let's just draw out a path along this plant here. So just using the usual Bezier tools to left click and drag out to get some nice curvature here. And let's just go all the way along this and drag it out. Now, if you have accidentally stopped drawing a path and you want to get back to it, just hold Control and left click the last point, and then it'll let you continue drawing it. So let's just finish this out, and there we go. So now let's take a look at what we can do with the stroke here. So we can now change it from path to mask 1, and so far nothing has happened. And instead of paint style on the original image, which just creates the stroke, so if we change the color here, we'll be able to see it. So there's our stroke now. But instead of actually just giving us paint, we can actually reveal the original image using our paint style. So let's change it to that, and now we can see that our stroke has cut everything out that it's not on the stroke. Now, of course, we really need to work on this. So the next thing we'll need to do is change the brush size, and we can increase this to increase the size of our stroke. Because you'll notice that at a size of 2, we're not really getting all the detail. We can turn this on and off to see, and so we're losing some of the detail we have. So let's increase the brush size quite a bit. Let's pull it up to something like around 5. Now you'll notice we begin to see these tendrils here, and we'll be able to fix those here in the next lesson. But for now, let's take a look at what this stroke allows us to do. So far, I mean, essentially, we could have done this with a mask. However, now we can go to this end and drag it back, and now we can animate this to grow on this stroke. So you can see here that we can get some really nice, really natural looking motion and revealing by using this stroke workflow with a mask line. So let's animate this and create a preset from it. So let's select our layer here, and let's key the end, and let's pull it out to 1 second here, and then let's key the end at 0. Let's take a look at that, and let me just restrict my timeline. And it looks like a pretty decent speed. It might be even a little bit too fast. So let's pull this out a little further. And let's take a look at this. Okay, that's looking a lot more natural. So, of course, depending on what situation and what kind of an image you're growing here, you can change the timing to your own personal liking. So now that we have our keyframes set up, let's create a preset for this. So I'm going to select my keyframes here. Let's go to Animation, and let's go to Save Animation Preset. And let's call this our stroke underscore reveal. Save this out. And now we can continue working with this. So obviously this is kind of limited right now, or we're limited with a single mask. Now there's a few ways we can add on the original leaves here, because as you can see, we want to add those on as well. We want those to curl out too. However, if we add in more masks to this single layer, it's going to cause some problems with the stroke. So in the next lesson, we'll take a look at how we're going to get around this issue by using multiple layers. So in this lesson, we learned how we can draw out a mask and add a stroke with a paint style of Reveal Original and the path set to one of our masks, and then animate the end from 0 to 100 to create this growing effect.